from the June debate with Biden and Trump to when he ended up dropping out in July, there was this knife fight on display and behind closed doors in the Democratic Party of Nancy Pelosi reportedly leading the charge to get him out to clear the way for a successor there. And Joe Biden, First Lady Joe Biden, she discussed this this past week. She said she was disappointed with Pelosi and said in an interview that, hey, we were friends for 50 years. Essentially, this hurt my feelings. What do you think of the intra-Democratic fighting that's happening now in the party that's been on display since the summer and going on to Trump's second term?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's not surprising, right? The notion that Democrats tried to sell after July 21st when Joe Biden got out of the race was, oh, he's just doing it for the good of the country and he really wants to do this. He, of course, didn't want to do it. We know that. 2 days before he got out of the race, he said only, and I'm quoting him here, the Lord Almighty could convince him to get out of the race. So we knew there was bad blood. Joe Biden's reaction, I think, is at some level understandable. It's the reaction of a spouse, not a political operative. But I do think, look, there's a lot of blame to go around here. I mean, Donald Trump has 4 more years in office. And not just that, Republicans control the Senate. Republicans control the House. Republicans control the majority of state legislatures and governorships in the country. So, I think that anytime you lose, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing. And I think what Democrats have to do in the next year or two is say, okay, the Democratic brand is not working currently. Let's put aside sort of who's to blame for what's happened up till now. We have to figure out from now going forward, what are we going to talk about it? How are we going to talk about it? What kind of voices are we going to put forward? What kind of people are we going to put forward to try to sort of reverse this losing streak?
And I guess to that point then, aside from the blame game, aside from the finger pointing, because everyone says the blame could be on the far right or far left to President Biden himself and everyone in between, what do you think? Do you think that the Democrats are going through an identity crisis, and how do you think they're going to come out on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, look, anytime you lose a national election, there is a lot of navel gazing. It's just the nature of the beast. If Republicans had lost, there'd be a lot of navel gazing about, did they make a wrong bet on Donald Trump? I do think that the Democratic Party has to be something more than just not Trump or anti-Trump or never Trump. I think that there's lots of people who are not Democratic base voters who are like, I don't love the guy, but what do Democrats stand for? And the answer for a lot of people is sort of this woke, trans, identity politics stuff that they don't like. And so, I do think Democrats have to figure out a way. This is not just about Donald Trump. If they continue to make it just about being the opposition to Donald Trump, I think they'll wind up coming up short again. The only thing I will say, Brittany, is history would suggest that the midterm 2026, the midterm election, should be good for Democrats. Republicans control everything. So basically the only thing they can do is either hold their ground or lose it a little bit. And history would suggest that midterm should be good for the party that is not in control of the White House. So maybe the sort of tides of elections fix this problem a little bit for Democrats. Even if they do well in 2026, though, I would not assume that problem is solved. To me, the next really big test of the Democratic brand is 2028.